Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have reached Hadith number 27 from Al-Arba'un al-Nawawi, the book that was compiled by Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah. The Hadith talks about Al-Birr and Ithm, about righteousness, doing good deeds and sins. And in this Hadith, there are two Hadith that has been mentioned together in this Hadith number 27. And it is narrated, the first part of it is narrated by عن النواس بن سمعان رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال البر حسن الخلق والإثم ما حاك في نفسك وكرهت أن يطلع عليه الناس رواه مسلم. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentions that al-birr husnul khuluq, that righteousness or doing good deeds is part of good character. And he mentions as the one al-ithm ma haka fi nafsik, yani the sins are things that wavers in your heart and things which you do not want people to know about. So here we also take an important qaida, that is, sometimes we think of ourselves as humans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us on fitrah, where we know what is correct and what is wrong. And here sometimes we do something and we be like thinking, okay, have I done the wrong deed or the right deed? If our heart is finding peace and sakina on what we have done, then that is most of the time the correct thing. And if our heart is kind of shaky about it, in the next hadith it is explained more in detail. If it's shaky about it, that means there is something wrong that you have done which you don't want even the people to know about. But here there is an important condition that needs to be fulfilled for you to use this to check your heart, because the important condition is that you have been raised in a good environment and your mentality or your personality is something that is from the Quran and Sunnah. We cannot be like such a place where, for example, we be like, oh, this seems right to me, but this person has no idea of Quran and Sunnah. He be like, oh, we have to be good to everyone. We have to be good to, other people. We have to go and celebrate, all other religious observances. We just have to be good from our heart, and that is going to be enough. That is wrong, actually. Our heart should be good on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based it upon, and that is what we get rewarded for. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based it upon was Tawheed, the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When someone is doing dhulm, is oppressing the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how could you be polite to that person going and celebrating in his religious observances? You as a person who even would not talk to someone who did oppressed, or who oppressed your brother, or beat your brother, or did something wrong to your own brother, you would not be going and having nice chit chats, or being nice to the face to that person. Imagine someone who is oppressing Allah, he is transgressing the limits of Allah, he is going and doing shirk, which is the worst type of worst sins, and he is not following the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you still have in mind that we have to be going and being nice and being polite, yes, being nice and polite is part of Islam, but going and being part of those celebrations, part of those other religious observances, and encouraging those and stuff, that means there is a problem with your attachment to Iman with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to, the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that is there, we will be staying away from things that are in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second hadith that is mentioned, that is narrated by Wabisa bin Ma'bad radiyallahu an, أتيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال جئت تسأل عن البر. He went to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he asked, did you come to ask about birr, about doing good deeds, being righteous? And he said, قلت نعم, yes. قال استفتي قلبك. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, استفتي قلبك, ask your heart. البر ما اطمأنت إليه النفس واطمأن إليه القلب. Righteousness is what the heart finds peace and tranquility at, and it is what you will find peace and tranquility in the soul and heart. والإثم ما حاك في النفس وتردد في الصدر وإن أفتاك الناس وأفتوك. the sins are things that even our soul and our heart do not find peace in, and we have this status of qalaq or taraddud, where we are not sure if we have done the right thing, we are doubtful, right? وَإِنْ أَفْتَاكَ النَّاسُ وَأَفْتُوكَ. Even if the people, they come and tell you, no, it's okay, what you did is right, but still inside your heart it says that what you did is wrong. So in this place we trust what our heart says, with the condition that our heart is on the basis of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us. And in this place, for example, sometimes we go through situations in life. Maybe sometimes we oppress other people. Always when problems happen between two people in communities, or sometimes in society life, you would see that both sides, they think they are the right. They think, for example, you would find a mother who would oppress the husband, or a wife who would oppress the husband, or a mother who would oppress the daughter-in-law or a son-in-law, and always the mother thinks that she is in the right path, and the son or the daughter, they think they are always in the right path. Likewise, the husband think, no, they are the right ones. And here there has been dhulm that has happened, oppression that has been happened, whether it be between friends, whether it be between relatives or families. And the person who oppressed, they know they went beyond the limit. The person who oppressed, they know that they had gone beyond the limit, and if they don't understand it, that means their heart is dead. So in this place we are talking about a heart that is still sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still a heart that is in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that prays the salawat, that does the good deeds what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed upon us, and the heart is sound and clean. And this heart will easily know that I have oppressed someone, I have done wrong to someone. And in this place, even if sometimes people come and tell you, oh no, it's fine, etc., no, still listen to your heart. And when your heart says no, you have to go and apologize, go and fix it, go and fix it. Do not hold on to these things. And these are the places where the munafiqs and the kuffar, they went away. During time of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Quraysh kuffar, they knew very well. Even Abu Jahl, he was asked from his relatives, when he was traveling, what do you think about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam? He said that he knows that it is the truth, that he is not lying, but what he had was ego. What his problem was ego. What would people think if he accepted Islam? And that made him to die in kufr. Likewise are the hearts of munafiqs, where they know what is the correct thing, but just because they know that what they have done is wrong, there's something wrong which they committed, they have oppressed something, right? But because they don't want to put down themselves, or they don't, because of the ego or attitude, they be like, it's okay, I don't care about it. They try to patch their hearts with things and words where they feel like, okay, now I would somehow try to find tranquility and peace by patching things up. Or sometimes they try to ignore and they try to talk about some other subject because they can't handle that that amount of severeness of the sins that they have done, or the oppression, that they try to skip those topics, and they try to move on to other things. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He blesses us to have a clean heart, and that we obey the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we obey the footsteps of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He does not let anyone else oppress us, neither that we oppress anyone else.